My name is Kat, and today I'm doing my January wrap-up. So I managed to finish 4 books in the month of January, and that is right on track with my goal. I'm trying to read about a book a week, and 4 books in a month is approximately that. So goal-wise, I'm doing okay, but somehow I still feel like I should be reading more. I have been writing more, which was one of the big reasons I was only reading a book a week, so I would have more time during the week to write, which I've been doing, so maybe this goal is working out just fine. I just need to get used to it. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, for now, I just want to discuss these 4 books that I finished in January, so let's get into that. So first up, I have here Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. And this was the Booksplosion Book of the Month pick for our January read-along, which was sponsored by Disney Hyperion this month. I did do a review of this book along with a challenge inspired by this book, so I'll link that video down below if you want to know more details. But basically, this is the first book in a time travel duology about a girl named Etta who is essentially kidnapped by time travelers and blackmailed into finding this item that is hidden somewhere in the world at some point in time. There's romance and action and lots of great historical details and cool time travel world building, and it was just a fantastic book. I really enjoyed this one. There's been a lot of hype surrounding this book, and I don't want to add to that too much because hype can be intimidating, but it was really good and I highly recommend checking it out, especially if you are into time travel or stories that kind of involve a traveling, questing type journey, because this will just satisfy all of your desires for those types of things. And because it was the Booksplosion Book of the Month, there was a live show, so I'll link that down below if you want to watch that and hear many more details and opinions from myself and the rest of the Booksplosion crew. Next up, I have here Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. This is a standalone historical novel that's inspired by the greatest maritime tragedy in history. We follow 4 main characters who are from different parts of the world, but they're all being affected by World War II. And at this point in time, they're all in Germany and they're all trying to evacuate. I really enjoyed this book more than I thought I would because I don't consider myself the biggest fan of history. Like, in school, history was always my least favorite subject, but books like this and Passenger are kind of making me re-evaluate that because I loved the history in this book. Like, I'd never even heard of the event that inspired this story, but it was so interesting learning about it through this book. Like, I feel like I learned a lot reading this, and not just that, but it was such a good story. Like, it's not really about the history and the war, it's about these 4 characters. The characters in this book are all so interesting, and 3 of them are very likable, and the 4th one I don't think you're supposed to like. But likability aside, they were all fascinating, and they all had secrets and motivations that you might not know right away. The tension in this book is definitely one of the high points for me, because not only is there the underlying tension of this book being inspired by the greatest maritime tragedy in history, but also all of the characters have secrets and there's just so much tension in each character's personal journey. It was just such a gripping and thrilling and awesome read. I do think the ending was a bit abrupt. Like, there was enough resolution that I was satisfied, but maybe I just wanted more with the characters, because like I said, the characters were all so interesting. If you like historical novels or books with interesting characters and lots of great tension, then this is the book you're looking for. I highly recommend checking it out. Next up is Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book in a trilogy that's set in this world where there was this event known as Calamity, and from that moment, people started getting power, supernatural abilities, and unfortunately, none of them decided to go the hero route and now the world is just controlled by various supervillains. We follow a boy named David whose father was killed by one of these supervillains named Steelheart, and now David wants revenge. So he joins up with this group of rebels known as the Reckoners with essentially one goal, and that is to bring down Steelheart. Once again, I am thoroughly impressed with a Brandon Sanderson book. This one was really good for like the first 75% or so, and then it got really great. I loved the world building here, and I loved our group of characters, and more than anything else, I loved the plot twists. Like the way Brandon Sanderson tells a story that keeps surprising you, but also, you know, once the plot twists happen, you're like, oh, of course. Oh, it's so good. I love it. I would still say that Mistborn is my favorite Brandon Sanderson novel and my go-to recommendation if you're looking to read a Brandon Sanderson novel, but this one was also fantastic. And if you're not a fan of high fantasy, epic fantasy, that sort of thing, then I would actually recommend this one over Mistborn because it's more of a contemporary urban fantasy. It's young adult. It might be a little easier to get into, but yeah, Brandon Sanderson's books are great. Read all of them. Start here, start with Mistborn. I don't care, just read them all. That's my goal anyways. And finally, I have here First and Then by Emma Mills. This is a standalone contemporary novel about a girl named Devon who is just trying to figure stuff out and deal with her life. She doesn't know where she wants to go to college, or even if she wants to go to college. She's dealing with her cousin moving in with her and becoming essentially her foster brother, and she's also coping with being secretly in love with her best friend. I picked this book up kind of on a whim. I just thought I would read the first few pages, but in those first few pages I found myself really enjoying the humor and the narration of the main character, so I just sat down and finished the entire book in a single sitting. My favorite element of this book was definitely the humor, like the snarkiness and the sassiness. It was all on point. And also, this was just exactly what I wanted to read at the time. Like, I wanted a cute, fun contemporary, and that's what this is. Like, it didn't blow my mind, it didn't change my life, but it was really entertaining and fun, and I'm glad I read it. If you're in the mood for a funny, cute contemporary, give this a go because it will be that for you. Alright, there you have it. Those are the 4 books that I finished in January, and that's gonna do it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great night, and I will have another video up soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye!